Welcome to Portraits by Melody on the Nathan's Art channel. I'm Melody, the artist behind these portrait paintings, and I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background about me. I started making these portraits about 1.5 years when the Adobe Fresco app came into my life, and ever since then, this is how I've been working. After making portraits all of last year, I decided that this year, I guess this month, I'm going to really make an effort to dedicate time to being creative and sharing my process on here. I've enjoyed drawing and making things since I was young, but I've never really given it the space and time to turn it into a real passion. And in an effort to really kind of commit to this idea of becoming a consistent portrait artist who shares her process, I decided the best way to kind of expand my portfolio was to go out into the world and ask a stranger if they would be willing to let me paint them. And the first time I did this, it put me really out of my comfort zone. And this is the second stranger I asked, and it went much better this time. I think I feel good about the way I handled my nerves and expressed myself, or at least I thought I did. And when I got home, I realized when Ben mentioned to me that she's wearing a like and subscribe shirt that you guys were all probably going to think that that's why I picked her. But it really isn't, I promise. I just had my eye out for someone who felt comfortable expressing themselves, and she caught my eye. I really thought her hair was cool, and I liked her fun makeup. I thought her look was neat, cool, and I wanted to challenge myself. I've never created a portrait of somebody who had their makeup done so cool, and so I wanted to challenge myself. I always kind of try to pick somebody who would challenge me in some kind of way, like my skills, and so this was the challenge with picking her was to try and get her hair color and her makeup to look realistic and to look cool. Here in a second, you guys are probably going to notice that I switched the tablet to landscape as it would fall right in the beginning of the video. It's one step at a time over here. I'm realizing that there are better ways to do things, and I thought if I turn my tablet, they'll be able to see how I'm using the app better. You'll notice also that this video has a lot better lighting than the last one. So I don't know. I just want you guys to know that this is not a major operation. It is a one-man band over here. And I'm probably going to have to continue to just keep learning as I go, because that's probably the best way for me to figure it out. So thank you guys for being here with me as I learn how to share my process in an entertaining way. I've actually been thinking about what to talk about over these videos, or if I even need to talk over them, or if they're better and more entertaining if I don't talk over them. But I've been trying to put a space in these process videos for you guys to get to know me a little bit as an artist too, and not just somebody random on the internet who makes portraits on their tablet. I think it's important to get to know the artist behind the painting, behind the work, behind the hand moving around on the screen. And so I think I'm just going to kind of talk about something that was on my mind while I was making this to help you guys feel more connected to me. And so this week while I was working on this portrait, I kind of was thinking about appearances and making appearances, just being somewhere and being present, and how your appearance can impact people around you. And I was reading this book this week that kind of got me thinking about it too. In the book, it's a fictional story, but she is just a random girl who inherits billions of dollars, and she's handed a new life. And when she gets to this new house, and there's a million employees telling her or that they're working for her, and they're like, okay, you need to go to hair and makeup, you need to get a new outfit because you've got this new life, your appearance needs to tell your story. And she's like, okay, I guess I guess so. And I kind of thought about that for a little bit, and I couldn't decide if it was fair to make somebody change their look just because of the way, just because of something that was handed to them. I don't know if that's fair, but I have always heard dress for the job you want, dress for success, that the way you present yourself is important and does impact the opportunities that you can have sometimes and the way that people perceive you. And I don't know, I just started thinking about this idea of appearance and presence beyond that too, like my brain went to like being in a moment and how you're just being there can change a moment or impact somebody else's life just because you're there, beyond like how you look or the story you're telling with your look, or I don't know, you're just being there and how that can impact life. And I think I'm on this track because I was thinking about like my presence on the internet this week and what I wanted to get out of sharing my sharing these little like videos like of my process. Like, what do I want to be like on the internet? Like, what kind of creativity do I want to share? Like, where's my space? And I don't know if I figured it out yet, but I wanted to tell you guys a little story that I thought of when I was thinking about this being present and like just being there and how, or being in a space and how it can impact the people around you. So when I was in Mexico as a missionary for a while, there were a lot of days where I was outside all day, every day, and that was just because we didn't find a whole lot of people who wanted to hear what we were saying. And so I spent a lot of time walking around outside looking for people to talk to. And so there was just one day that I was super tired. I was tired of being in the sun. I was tired of walking around aimlessly day after day just talking to people. I was tired of being away from everybody who cared about me and mostly just tired of talking to everybody and tired of seeing people like see me and flee. People would see me coming down the street in like my missionary clothes and they would cross the street to go to the other side because they didn't want to walk past me. And I recognize that happens to people and it sucks. It is not cool to have somebody see you and then they cross the street and purposely avoid you. Like, it just feels bad. So that, like, all of that stuff was wearing on me and I was tired. And this particular day, the girl who was with me as a mission, we'd stick together. So she decided that she saw this guy across the street and I was like, no, we don't want to talk to him. He doesn't want to listen to us. I've already talked to him before and he's just not interested. And she crossed the street anyway, and she started to say, hello, we're missionaries. When he stopped her, he just like stuck his hand up and he's like, nah. And he said, why should I listen to you? And I was like, ooh, okay, that was not cool. And it caught her off guard. And I didn't want to add any other kind of like tension to the conversation. So I just stood there and let the dominoes fall. I was like, okay, I'll just wait a second. And I was thinking a lot of like, I told you so, and let's just keep going. Let's just let him be. And in those few seconds of silence, I just was ready to move on. He stopped and he pointed at me and he was like, I would listen to her. And I was like, what? He says, I've seen her walking in the sun, her face so sunburnt she looked like a lobster, her feet swollen from the heat. She's walked past my house soaking wet from the rain. I would listen to her. And I was sitting there thinking, no, you wouldn't. You didn't listen to me last time I talked to you, but it's fine. Did I feel seen at that moment? I sure did. And did I feel uncomfortable that he'd noticed me? Also, yes. And it was kind of embarrassing that he had seen me walking around that often because I was there that long. But I kind of realized at that moment that even if all I did was walk around being me, that somehow my presence would make an impact on other people's lives. Even if it was just that they started to notice that I was around often and that I was present. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to keep in mind as I work toward this idea of like being present on social media, that I just have to show up. Like, I just need to show up as me and be consistent, and that will be enough, and quit being so like traumatized by expectations that I'm putting on myself, like that I need to fit within this box, and this is like the level of creativity that people expect from me, and this is the way I need to present myself. And I think that the more expectations I put on myself, the harder it gets to actually complete something because I get nervous and scared. And I don't know. Something that like really is fueling this idea of me sharing more of myself on here is a quote from Dan Harmon that says, find your voice, shout it from the rooftops, and keep doing it until you find the people that are looking for you. And that is what I'm holding on to while I do this. I'm looking for the people who are looking for me. And I think that's okay. I really do. It will be good to have like a group of people to like build a little community here, and I'm excited about that like possibility. That's why I'm doing this. I found a song this week because I wasn't sure I was going to do a voiceover, so I spent a lot of time kind of looking for a song that would fit this idea of presence, appearance, being like you, and just being you, I guess is the way to put it. And I found a cool one, so I wanted to share it with you guys to see if you guys liked it too. It's called Ain't Nobody Else But You, and I'll put like on the screen who sings it, but I wanted to share it with you guys, so listen to this. It's pretty cool. So I guess what I just want to kind of end by saying is that I, all week, have just been thinking about how our presence matters. And I want to just say that whatever your passions are, whatever is important to you, they matter. And whatever you're doing to express what you love, that's what matters. Just be you and be present. You'll make a difference. And I want to thank you guys for being here to see what I'm up to. And I'll see you guys next week.